Welcome to the very last Flashpoint podcast. That's right. Season 3 is it, but hang on till the end of this episode and you're going to find out where you can catch us starting next season. Yeah, it's me, Phil. With me is Tyler and the fam.
Yep. As always. Me and Captain, my magical drumsticks.
And Captain Haircut.
An excellent intro as always. Hey, how's it doing, geeks of the world?
And like last week, we're doing this on the Capes and Lunatics YouTube page, so you can catch us live. And next season, we'll be doing this as part of Capes and Lunatics, so check us out here. And everyone's spitting. All right, everyone, we're going to get into this as soon as we say goodnight to Tyler's son. Night, Solo.
Night, Solo.
All right. Kids are in bed. Let's begin. Season 3 finale. Finish line. Ooh. How ironic. Our last episode. Finish line.
That is ironic.
And who didn't see the reveal coming about the whole Iris thing?
Well, I had it pegged down to maybe Julian or HR. Yeah. Mm-hmm. HR made more sense. That's why, in honor of HR, I have the drumsticks out today. And remember, so there's no I in team, but there's an H and an R in hero.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, and we've been talking about what, like, me and Phil, like, I was on board with Phil's theory, but nope, he's just a red shirt.
And the whole thing with that drumsticks all season was just for that moment. So, when Iris dropped the drumsticks and was like, BA, you're like, oh, it's HR. All season just for that one moment.
They psyched us out for a moment because they had the scene where we saw HR come running around the corner. And I was like, no, my theory.
Yeah. Then he goes, Dad.
Yeah. And it was awesome how they played it where they showed us he did the switch.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even think about that.
But I knew someone had to have taken her place. I knew it because, they brought back that face-changing thing from, earlier in the season, the last episode, and it's like, okay, we get it. We know that's in play.
Yeah, but apparently HR's whole reason, his whole purpose was just to die.
No, he's supposed to make the ultimate sacrifice, showing that anybody can be a hero.
Well,
smart or have powers.
Isn't that the way with Harrison Wells is? Or reasonable.
Harry's not dead.
Well, no, but all the other ones are. You could fill a graveyard just with Harrison Wells. They never met him really, but the original Harrison Wells of Earth 1 is dead. Eobard, who impersonated Wells, is dead or wiped from existence, whatever.
Oh, let's not get into that.
So we're at least up like 3 Wells that have died.
I don't know. It was sad, though. I admit.
Although one thing about it is, while he was still Iris, he gasped, and I like how no one thought, "Hey, should we get him medical attention?" Nah,
got impaled.
Yeah, but I know, but it's like any TV show. All you gotta do is show him in 20 minutes with a bandage on. It's like, oh, he's fine now.
Who is he?
I like how he said I couldn't be a coward.
Well, he had to redeem himself.
I wonder if Stacy is going to stay on as a character.
Oh, Tracy, yeah.
And then she'll fall in love with Harry.
That's what I was thinking. He's the one that talked about.
Wait a minute! I just realized. Wait a minute! I just realized something. I know this could easily explain with one line, but technically, isn't it true that she never saw HR as Harrison Wells' face?
No, I think he showed her. I think it was mentioned. He mentioned it. They never showed the scene because I remember that was something I was looking out for, and he mentioned it. They mentioned it in a past episode.
I'd have to see.
That's right. He pulled it out. Zip.
Okay, that got weird.
That didn't sound right, Phil.
I meant his face.
Yeah, sure you did. You meant his head.
Now, here's something that I rewatched the episode today, and bothered me was why couldn't Cisco open a breach?
Thank you. I made a note of that.
Underneath Killer Frost's when they're fighting or when Savitar shows up or like he just can't open breaches. Like
okay, I actually, as you're saying it, I just thought of an explanation. He thought he could reach Caitlyn.
I'll take it just because.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I was thinking that too. It's like, why didn't he just go? Or even that, he didn't even try to fight them or anything once he was captured. It was like, okay, honor system.
So I want to see if does Julian now inherit the drumsticks and like carry them around and.
No, Cisco left them on the grave.
Oh, that's right. Dang it.
He could get himself a pair, but I mean, so I guess he's sticking around for season 4 too.
That's cool.
Actually, you know what they should do? Like they had like trophies, like Garrick's helmet for a little while. They should have like 2 drumsticks just somewhere.
Oh, don't get me started on the Garrick stuff. But
we'll get there.
Did anyone think they were actually going to talk Savitar down?
I don't know.
Oh god, that was so.
And like he said, what were they going to do? Even if they saved his life, what was he going to do?
Go to Earth 2 and be the Flash.
I was going to say, are they going to take turns being the Flash?
Well,
or he could have redeemed himself by just sacrificing himself and going back into the Speed Force.
Well, here's what's funny. They actually give a better explanation. Like, the original explanation for him being a villain was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Everyone was mean to him. It's like, no, okay, even though none of the characters would ever do that in a million years.
Mm-hmm.
What makes more sense is something they mentioned in this episode. He is Barry, so he has to watch the love of his life with another man, even though it's him. You know what I mean? I'm like, he can't have Barry's life. I'm like, okay, that could drive someone crazy. That's a believable villain story.
He has all, like you said, he has all the memories of loving her and like proposing to her. Yeah, and he can't have her. That'd drive him crazy. And I figured that was the case. And 2, I figure probably eventually all time remnants will go nuts. You know, maybe they're not like perfect creations.
Well, it reminds me of like an Arrow recently where they listed a better reason for breaking up with Oliver.
Oh, wait till you boys watch the finale.
Did you catch?
Yeah, I did. I forgot.
Did you catch that Savitar says to Caitlyn and Cisco? He says every hour, every minute.
Oh no, he wasn't going to burst in the song, was he?
But I'm saying, like, it's like a callback to where he said he remembers singing to her. He remembers.
I know. Okay. I remember when he said about singing to her. You know, when he proposed, I was thinking. I was like, oh man, does he remember that horrible musical episode too? No wonder he went.
Okay, here's the thing. I think the finale is pretty decent, but the problem is Savitar's story is so stupid, makes so little sense that it doesn't matter how good it is because it's one of those things where they back themselves in the corner. Savitar being a self-fulfilling villain just, in my opinion, tarnishes the entire storyline.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that doesn't make sense. They're like, okay, time has changed, and yet Savitar is still remembering.
Well, then it was like the memories. Sometimes the memories hit him like right away, and the other times that but they
this is what I'm saying.
Catch up to him. Yeah,
and then it's like certain things he didn't remember. Certain things. It's like they were just throwing everything at the fan and seeing what stuck. You know what I mean? And you're saying, wait, that doesn't make any sense. You just mixed your metaphor. I know. I'm practicing to be a writer on Flash.
But they mentioned DeVoe again, so
yep.
That's something. How is Savitar remember DeVoe? What they were? I thought they said that Barry left the team, but still had time to fight DeVoe.
Well, maybe he was getting new memories because he remembered when Julian came in with the cure for Killer Frost, so maybe those new memories were hitting him.
But no, remember the fact that it's 5 years from or 4 years from now when he actually traps Savitar. So it's still a couple years till he makes the time remnants to fight Savitar.
Yeah,
I keep thinking of
when Iris died. Now she didn't die. Ooh.
Yeah,
exactly.
The paradox was catching up to him.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it should be there was Sleepy Hollow did something where they had a future version of a character who time traveled, but she changed it. Now she didn't fade or anything, but that's a whole another thing. But time long, and they said in the show, she's like, everything that happened from here on, I will not remember. And that's how it should have been for Savitar.
Well, yeah, but it was like the paradox was catching up to him. It hadn't changed yet.
I think it's tricky. I really do think it's.
Oh, the whole thing is tricky. The whole thing takes. I mean, I love when Joe's like, "Look, you still have to tell me about this
for the millionth time
time travel stuff."
One thing about HR's plan, his whole plan depended on the fact that Savitar and Killer Frost didn't kill Iris as him. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, think about his original plan wasn't to switch places; it was just to free her.
Right.
And then he got caught. So it was Plan B, just to do it as a spur of the moment,
last ditch effort. Yeah.
And so that's kind of where, he just acted.
Oh, by the way, when Killer Frost is fighting Vibe and Savitar stops her, he's like, "Don't kill him." I almost could hear in my head, I'm just hearing, "Oh, good," because I was totally about to kill him because I'm Killer Frost and I kill people.
Yeah. Now, Phil, did Masonville ring out to you as anything important?
No.
Wait, what's Masonville? Did I miss something?
When he talks about they broke down on their way to Midway City.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Midway is.
Yeah, Midway is, but then he said we were in Masonville, and I was trying to think, why can't he have just said Smallville? How much cooler would that have been?
The only thing I can think is Mason is when Wally West was the Flash early on, he had a friend named Mason.
I think it could just be a random thing.
Yeah, I think it was just
Now, can we talk about a line that Cisco says? Let's see if anyone else thought of it the way that I did.
What's that?
Do you remember what Cisco refers to Savitar Barry as?
I know he said his face looked like thin crust pizza.
No, he said Two-Face.
He did
Two-Face, yes.
So think about this for a second. Cisco can vibe other Earths. Gypsy felt Cisco across the multiverse. It means he can feel things in other universes. We know that Batman exists on Supergirl's planet, which is in the multiverse. Thus, we could assume that Two-Face exists there, and it makes you wonder if Cisco knows about it.
That's what we hope, but it's probably not what it is.
Yeah, I know.
But think about it. Why would you say he looked like Two-Face or call him Two-Face like that without knowledge of that character?
It could be. Well, the show has a bad habit of fan service that goes nowhere.
Yeah, they wanted that reaction. They just got from you.
Exactly. But okay.
And wait a second. But you did wait before we can move on. But you did mention about Gypsy and Cisco having a connection. So what's that about? Either I think they were lovers on Earth 19, or she's like the female version of Cisco from Earth 19.
I think it's going to be like her partner that died. It's going to be
him. Yeah. But she got the powers on Earth 19.
Oh God! You know what'd be even weirder if the Cisco on her Earth was her brother.
Oh, I think she would have said something before.
Yeah, she would have. If I imagine that, but on Earth 19, that's commonplace. Haven't you read HR's book, Brotherly Love?
Where's Earth 19 in the multiverse? West Virginia.
That's harsh.
But one thing I definitely think is worth I have to mention because I'm such a fan of makeup effects. Savitar's Scarface is the worst makeup I have ever seen. Like I do cosplay.
In good lighting? Oh my gosh, I have that.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't notice it last week, or the week before, but this week I really noticed it because like you said, better light. But I'm a cosplayer. I write costumes. I do pretty good dressing up. I am the least crafty person you'll ever meet. I can't do building. I can't do makeup. Any makeup you see was done by my sister usually. But even me, with absolutely no skills, could do that with a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah, like his makeup looked fine in distant shots and
it
far
looks
away and like darkness.
It on. It literally looks like the kind of like you just like if you want a quick costume for Halloween, you get the prosthetics at the store and do the glue on your face. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it when it was up close, it looked bad. But I mean, that scene was cool.
But we got everybody. I mean, everybody came back. We got like Gypsy, Jay Garrick.
Hold on.
That was my whole thing when they had Cisco prisoner. I'm like, why are they trusting him?
Yeah, like obviously, I'm like
the gun.
Like obviously, Cisco is gonna do. Like he never thought, hey, maybe Cisco's gonna betray me.
Oh, I knew Cisco was gonna do something else.
Oh, me too.
Here's my question. Okay, so of course, Savitar has the speed bazooka, and he's firing the speed bazooka that's supposed to splinter himself and send him out into the multiverse, which is crazy and cool at the same time. If that had happened,
yeah, that's what
Savitar existed at all periods of time.
That's what I was going to say. What was going to happen then if he existed in every time? I mean,
that's when he becomes like godhood.
Yeah,
he would be like omnipresent. But if Cisco can rig it so that it's like a key that pulled Jay out, why can't it just pull Jay out and push Savitar in? Why can't it just
Because that would have been quicker.
The armor protected him.
I'll take it.
Yeah, but
Speaking of the armor, how badass was that scene when Barry vibed into the suit and pushed Savitar out?
Did anyone think for a split moment that maybe when Barry went into the armor and Savitar popped out, that Savitar switched places with Barry?
I wasn't. Funny thing. I find it funny that when Savitar's in the suit, his voice is completely different. But when Barry's in the suit, it sounds like Barry with a voice changer.
No, he didn't turn on the voice modulator. But you know what?
Well, of course.
I don't know why Savitar is using that blue light. I think that the red lights on that suit when Barry was in there made it look more menacing.
Yeah, it did. Why was it red?
Uh-huh.
Shouldn't that have been like Reverse Flash when it was red? Shouldn't it have been like yellow?
It should have been. Yeah, I mean Savitar should have used the red all season.
Well, red means stop, and Barry wanted him to stop.
Oh, jeez.
Where's them drumsticks at?
I tossed it to the side because I figured I'd been playing with them too much.
Well, we heard that before.
In your head.
I did like that Harry respects HR now. Well, he had to die to get his respect.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was the whole point. Was HR was the underdog that no one really, didn't value.
Well,
how cool was the scene where you saw Savitar running and you had Wally, Flash, and Jay Garrick Flash all chasing him?
This is a total nitpick about that scene, but when he does it, now it looked awesome. It did. I love when he cuts through the trees. I love when he does that lightning move, looks like a Mortal Kombat move or something. But this is totally a physics nitpick. But when he cuts the trees, they wouldn't fall at super speed.
That's true.
I don't know. I mean, there was at one point Wally West could lend speed to objects so they moved quicker, unless he did something like that.
Although one thing I keep thinking about is how when we first meet Savitar, he's able to move faster than anyone. But now they can go toe to toe with him. It's like, logic, what's that?
It's because he lost the psychological advantage.
Well, I figured it was that, and when he was faster than them, he was in the Speed Force.
He had the Philosopher's Stone too.
Well, yeah, because he was still trapped in the Speed Force. Because that's why only Barry could see him and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, that scene, I thought that's when I saw that. I'm like, oh, this is right from the comic book. Barry, Wally, and Jay chasing after him, dude. Yeah.
The only thing I kind of wish, in a way, would have happened there is where's Jesse? How cool would it have been if Jesse showed up? Mm-hmm. And I almost wish for some reason they were able to pull Thawne out of time somewhere, because Savitar threatened the Reverse Flash's existence if they hadn't done what they did on the other show, and would have had Reverse Flash fighting Savitar as well.
Well, which is why these shows need some more teamwork and cross communication.
Well, we did get Black Flash for 2 seconds.
Oh God,
that was awesome.
That was so stupid. That was so stupid. No, I mean it looked great. They just
wanted her to crumble him and say, "Bye, Hunter."
Bye, Hunter. Actually, speaking of what, does this count her? Does this count as her? Well, because he's not exactly alive, so does it count as her killing someone?
She broke his heart and everything else.
Yeah, but I always find it funny in this show how it's because it's the Flash and there's many speedsters, what they can do with their speed powers is subjective. There is no reason she should have been able to hit him.
Yeah, because that's what even people on Twitter were saying. They're like, "Oh, what? Now Caitlyn's fast enough to freeze a speedster." I'm like, "Yeah, ones who don't zig or zag and just come straight at you."
But so her eyes, okay. So Caitlyn's eyes changed back to normal, but she was still Killer Frost, and she shot Savitar to save Cisco, which was dope. And we'll just kind of jump this. Julian created the cure to destroy her meta powers. Okay. But then at the end, she's like, "I'm not Caitlyn. I'm not Killer Frost." What does that mean? I hate this because
she has her personality back, but she still has the powers. So
that's how it should have always been. Yeah, just like Cisco. Cisco didn't become a new person. This whole way they're handling her is
this season should have been her figuring out who she is. Not they stretched this. It makes no sense. But this is what This is what makes sense. The whole next season is probably going to be her figuring out who she is. She's probably just going to call herself Snow or something.
Frost.
Frosty. Call herself Frosty.
The Frost, formerly known as Killer.
Cool chick.
Hula.
She's cold as ice. She's chopping broccoli.
But like, I don't know. It bugged me because she's like, I'm somebody different. I'm like, no, you're just Caitlyn who has blonde hair and freeze powers.
Yeah,
it's like when you became Killer Frost, you weren't a whole new person. Cisco didn't become a whole new person. You just psychosomatically changed yourself to being a killer. Just
I gotta say, but I'm looking forward to. I'm because this season has Danielle back this whole time, so I'm curious to see now that hopefully next season they'll do something better with her.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of women, who takes on Savitar in the end?
Iris.
Okay.
Iris.
Okay. This is, I thought that was I like the idea of the poetic justice of Iris, but I think what would have been cooler is to have Savitar fade as he's running at Barry.
Yeah, but then we couldn't have the discussion of the fact that Iris murdered Barry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because he even asked her, he's like, are you okay with what you did? And she said, maybe one day it'll get to me. Because she did murder Barry.
Well, speaking of Caitlyn, I like when Cisco kind of convinced her that Savitar's the bad guy. Shocking. And he's like, he's going to kill you. No, he won't. Oh, well, the argument's over. I know, it's a good thing she doesn't have good hearing. I'm going to kill Caitlyn. What? What was that? Nothing.
And before they see what Caitlyn does, why does Cisco just like throw the cure at her and say, here, if you want to be Caitlyn, take it? Why wouldn't he force her when he still thought she was evil? Give her the cure.
It has to be her choice.
Or maybe have him start to force her, but then change his mind.
I was expecting to shoot her with a dart gun.
I know. I'm like, before she changed, she told you she'd rather die than be Killer Frost. So wouldn't she want to be? Maybe she's not in her right mind. Maybe she would want to change back.
But I love how like when Barry's like, I'm the hero, so I got to do this. It's like, again, yes, you do the hero thing, give the villain a chance, fine. But that doesn't mean bring him in completely unrestrained and just let him have the run of the play.
Yeah, but he had to play that carefully because anything he did, Savitar was going to remember.
I know, but what I'm saying is it's like, so the guy that knows what's going to happen and plans for it devised a plan for what was going to happen. I'm shocked. I saw that coming a mile away.
Well, he had to be the good guy. Barry had to be the good guy. Snart.
I don't mind that. It's just how they went about it. The execution is what I had a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, although they probably, obviously they just did this because they're going to do a different set next season.
Yeah, we lost Star Labs.
To be nice, shiny, and new. Yeah. Hey, man, everybody gets a new headquarters in season 4.
Sweet.
That's Team Arrow.
So let's talk about the ending. All right. So think about this. We got
everything looked happily ever after. Barry mailed the wedding invitations, but then the big Speed Force storm hits the city.
I love when he knocks out Savitar. He just walks away like, oh, I punched him once. I'm sure that'll handle this situation. I'm like, how many times are we going to see the hero do that? It's like, no.
Yeah, for real.
Did anyone think it was weird that Gypsy wasn't at the funeral?
The what?
Wait, what?
Gypsy was. Am I crazy? Or was Gypsy wasn't at HR's funeral?
Trying to remember. Oh yeah, she might. I don't think we did. Wait, did we? Wait, I thought she was there.
Even if she was, I don't think she was. But even if she should have, I would think her saying something would have been awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, yeah, they were in love and all this. But I mean, really, how long did she know him? A couple days?
No, Gypsy.
Weeks.
Oh, Gypsy. Yeah, Gypsy.
She knew it in weeks.
No, Gypsy.
Gypsy, yeah.
She had to go back to her birth.
It might have seemed kind of awkward, seeing how she tried to take him back to Earth 19 to be executed.
I think that would have made it poetic. I really do. But whatever.
Yeah.
But I do now about. I'm really curious to see if she stays on because that's an original character.
No, it's not.
Well, she's not.
Tracy's an original character.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're jumping between Gypsy and Tracy. It's getting confusing.
Well, you guys are confusing me.
Just like HR.
No, we've moved on. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. I was going to say she was going to take someone's place, but she's not a medical doctor, so she's not taking Caitlyn. Well, they'll probably use Julian for that. I was like, he's not really a science. He's a doctor. He's not a science. I don't know how they're going to handle that.
It'll be fun. Okay, so the Speed Force storm. Okay,
it looked awesome.
Did it make you think of the comics, Phil, which eventually led to Godspeed?
Yeah, like when they started Rebirth, yeah, a bunch of people got super speed. That's what I thought they were going to do for a second, but then.
Well, I'm wondering if that'll fit into season 4. Like, they said the main villain's not going to be a speedster.
Well, yeah, it'll probably be the Thinker. They keep calling out the vote, yeah. But I wonder, if somebody does get speed, and then they take Barry's place, well, yeah.
So I thought of Godspeed and that whole storyline.
All right, so
let's
get.
But you know what? It kind of looks like that there's that place in like Venezuela where the lightning strikes like 100 times a month or something.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of Barry because here's it's something we've said all this season. Barry does need to pay for Flashpoint.
Yeah, like okay, so let's just recap. At the end, the Speed Force basically someone has to take the place of the prisoner in the Speed Force. Okay, one I thought of why not make another time remnant and send your own time remnant in there.
Yeah, but I mean this season's proved that's not a good idea. So.
Like I said,
but unless I'm wrong, I think the Speed Force, as Barry's mom, kind of implied that they kind of because it's not about the trap, it's about the damage that's been done. So Barry's got to be the one that does because it's the damage that's connected to him. They seem to imply that there is no Speed Force trap anymore.
It was the energy. I don't know. All I know is it made me upset because
and why didn't Wally volunteer? Why stand there and watch his sister get heartbroken and be like, hey, you know what? I'll take his place if you guys can figure out a way to get me out. Get me out.
Well, they kind of said it without saying that it has to be Barry.
Yeah, but it would have been better if it had been something like Jay had went back to his Earth and maybe Wally had went to Earth 2 to see Jesse.
Mm-hmm. So if those other speedsters were there, yeah.
And then, because I mean, it pretty much Barry was okay with it because Barry had already accepted the fact that he had to pay for Flashpoint as if he knew something was coming and everything. So he was completely okay with going into the Speed Force and being there. So I mean, I was just like, Jay, you're old, dude. Run in there.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's a cliffhanger, but I mean, he's getting out of the Speed Force. One, it's Barry. It's Barry. No, and two, remember they already checked the time vault. They checked the newspaper article again. So he's there in 2024. So he's coming back eventually.
That's what I said. If they would have done something differently, where like Flash disappears after Lightning Storm, written by Iris West,
or like the article changes or the headline completely changes and it has nothing to do with Flash, and it's just like what happened.
Here's the thing. One thing they could be, and we kind of mentioned this before, it could be interesting if it takes most of the season to get him back. That could be a really interesting, unique season.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he'll be back either the first or second episode.
I said it'd be interesting, so of course they're not going to do it.
Yeah. Well, here's my question. But they'll imply all summer that Wally's been the flat. I wonder if Wally's going to wear the red suit like he did in the comics. You think Wally's going to put on Barry's suit or a version of it? He has Cisco. Cisco can make him a red suit.
By the way, I love when they're having that touching moment. I know it doesn't mean that at all, but it just sounded that way. It's like Joe says, a father would never be more proud of his son. It'd be funny if Wally just went, "Thanks, Dad."
Well, do you think maybe that we'll see Bart in season 4?
Well, they haven't gone that far into the future yet.
Yeah, but I mean, not them. Like Bart will show up from the.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know if they're gonna. They haven't gone that far into Flash. I don't know.
It makes me wonder if one of the shows is going to introduce the Legion of Heroes or something at some point.
They could do that.
Will be the best one for that.
Yeah, but you know how they could bring Bart in? Barry could try to lead the Speed Force, like the first or second episode. But he's lost in time, so he's pinballing between the past and the future, and he in one episode he meets Bart.
That would be awesome.
That could actually be. They could do a Return of Bruce Wayne thing, have the show be the team handling things in Central City, and a secondary story of Flash going through time and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he runs into that could even be a good crossover. He runs into the Legends. He goes to Supergirl's Earth.
There was a Wally West story where he got lost in time when, what happened? He pushed Savitar into the Speed Force.
By the way, there's been mention that this is what Future Barry meant when he was doing the warning to Rip. Here's a crazy idea, Barry. Okay, number one, I don't think that's what the original meaning of the warning was when the writers wrote it. Because wouldn't Barry just go, "By the way, I'm Savitar"?
Yeah.
No, because if he said, "By the way, if that's all the message was, nobody might understand that in the context.
I know, but you know what I mean.
So I don't know. I know Savitar got trapped in the future, and then time has no meaning in the Speed Force, so it's
Time has no meaning.
So technically, there's always been someone in the Speed Force. I mean, there wasn't a time when there wasn't anyone in there.
I don't know. Head hurts. Head hurts. I'm feeling Joe's pain.
Well, I'm hoping next season they get away from the time travel more and stick to like fighting metahumans and
evil speedsters.
Well, hopefully, there will be the Thinker, and we won't have an evil speedster as the big bad. So hopefully.
Oh, you know what's
it's
actually something we said as a possible explanation for Savitar. What would be an interesting thing to do is have an evil speedster, but it turns out he's not a meta. Like it's a guy in a augmented suit made by the Thinker as a trick or something.
From the remains of the Savitar suit.
Oh, well, there could be a piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be awesome to have a season without an evil speedster.
I'm thinking, and we might get that next season. I think they've heard enough people say, "Hey, enough with the speedsters."
I mean, we've gotten Reverse Flash, Zoom, Savitar,
the Rival,
and the Rival.
Basically, hit all the evil speedsters,
and we even got that Trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, that was.
All right. So, anything else?
Well, just okay. Well. For me, the thoughts on this finale, it was a good finale. I liked a lot of it. But again, it's the same thing that always holds the show back. The writing, the Savitar explanation, I honestly think it wasn't finished when they started because it doesn't connect at all. Like, I bet you anything, and we should think about doing this, we should go back to like the beginning, the first Savitar episode, and see if it makes his explanation completely contradict stuff they said before the reveal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's the only, for the rest, everything else about this finale, I pretty much like. I don't like how long it took Caitlin to become good again, and the convoluted Savitar story. But other than that, I was pretty happy with it. I'm curious, it was all right.
Yeah, it was a pretty good episode, but I mean, it was pretty predictable. We were pretty sure someone replaced Iris before she got killed, and I said I even called it either Barry or Iris was going to get trapped or something at the end of the season, and hey, Barry. They love their cliffhangers on this show. Tyler, final thoughts.
Bring on season 4.
Yes.
Oh, that's something I want to make as a joke. It'll be really funny when they have that scene after Barry delivers the invitation. Iris goes, "What's that?" It'd be funny if Barry just went to season 4.
Nice. All right. Should we wrap up our final episode?
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, everyone. Well, as you heard, this is the final episode. We're going off into the Speed Force, but follow me and Tyler to Capes and Lunatics for season 4 of The Flash, for Arrow, for comics, for all the TV shows.
And I'm sure I'll pop in on there. All of us will pop in on there once in a while.
Yeah, that's true. And email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Facebook is facebook.com, Capes and Lunatics. Twitter @CapesLunatics, Instagram Capes and Lunatics, Pinterest Capes and Lunatics Podcast, and leave us voicemail, but keep it clean. 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And Tyler, where can people find you? And remember, everyone, Krypton Report will be on Capes and Lunatics, and it will be its own thing.
Yep.
So keep following Krypton Report. It's not going anywhere.
Speaking of Krypton Report, season finale had a special guest.
Yes, we did. Let's just puff them out. It was Zach.
Spoiler. And when can people reach you, Tyler?
They can reach me at Krypton Report, at JTY Patrick, and at Capes and Lunatics. Just search for me. And
Zachary, what will you be up to in the coming year?
Oh, well, before I get that, I just remembered one other line. I like how when Barry switched the suit, Savitar's still going, it is written, and Barry's just like, no, it's not written, and he just kicks his butt. But you can reach me, any of the podcasts I do for South State Media, and I might be doing a couple over the summer. And keep in mind, for the Instant Insanity brand, you can email it at Gmail, you can contact it on Facebook, and unlike with the voicemail, you don't have to keep it clean. And but we got me and Christine's got some really big things planned for Instant Insanity, so keep an eye on that.
All right, you heard it here. So we're going off into the Speed Force. Once again, like I said, remember, follow Capes and Lunatics, follow Krypton Report, and follow Zach's Inch. All right, everyone. Until then, remember, we may not be here, but Capes and Lunatics in from Insanity, we will come racing out of the Speed Force in a flash.